So I'm Adam Smith. I'm the Programme Director for Dementia Researcher, which sounds very fancy for what it is. But I work at University College London. I've been there about 15 years now. And Dementia Researcher as an entity has existed for about 5 years. And it's something I've worked on for that whole time. And it originally came out of the Prime Minister's Challenge on the Dementia in the UK, when it recognised that they wanted to make dementia the career of choice for early career researchers, and at that time as well that more needed to be done to encourage young people to think about this as a career option and to encourage and support people working in dementia research so that we could help retain people in this field, and also as well to try and bring people together to learn from each other, so we could bring together researchers from across the world, but also those working in qualitative research and those working in fundamental science and in different areas of discovery, so that they might learn from each other. So recognizing that there was no going to be a silver bullet or one solution to solve the problem that is dementia and Alzheimer's disease. And the more we learn from each other about the different ways that this affects people, but also the different biology and the different things going on in the brain, that it would potentially spark new ideas and creativity and collaborations. And that's why we were brought about, to really facilitate some of that. So what I'm going to do this evening is to talk a little bit about Dementia Researcher Community. This is a service we launched back in July 2024. And so far it has I think just over 800 people have joined so far, and they are very much from everybody from people with lived experience who support research or undertake research themselves. It includes aspiring future researchers, those working in clinical settings, those working in academia, undergrads and master's students, right through to some very senior researchers working at professor or associate professor level. It really is a community for everybody, no matter what your career stage or your interest is. So as I say, it's been launched since last July. And when we first turned this on, we had I say we, of course, I and the group that gave us advice on this really had a vision, because up until that time, we'd already had a community in WhatsApp. But it was great. People liked it. Everybody chatted with each other, but it did have its flaws in so much as it wasn't really a fit for purpose product to allow community chat and some of the exciting ideas we had. And so that's where the community came from. So Dementia Researcher is essentially, the community is available through websites on communities.dementiaresearcher.nihr.ac.uk, and it's also available in Apple and Android app stores. If you just look for Dementia Researcher, you'll find it there. I think as much as many people who have joined the community so far tended to have, more people are using the web browser version because they've followed links to events and other things that we've promoted. But I'd very much encourage, even if you mostly access it through the website, to download the app as well, because one of the things we really try to do with the app is to take advantage of some of that technology to provide push notifications and real-time alerts to make sure you don't miss out on anything. So what I'm hoping to do tonight is to run through some of the features for those particularly who are new to the community space, to make sure that you're making the most out of everything that this has to offer. So if you're watching this on catch up, you're welcome to send me a direct message. You can look me up in the community and send me a direct message if you've got a question that I don't address in my screen share that I'm going to do in a little while. Or if you are watching live, you're welcome to post a question in using the Q&A box at the bottom, and I'll make sure I get to that at the end to answer specific questions. But you might want to hold on, because you never know, I might actually answer the question you're going to ask. So I'm going to share my screen now, and what I'm going to share with my screen is essentially the screen view of what the app looks like in the web version. I'd like to do this in the app. I could do that, but Essentially, everything I'm showing you now is through the website version, but everything in here is available in the app as well. It just might look slightly different. Some of the navigation changes a little bit, and some of the menu options are a little bit more hidden, so you have to dig to get to them. So we're going to start. Everybody new who joins the community essentially arrives here, which is on a page that says Start Here. And when you scroll down, what you're going to find here is a little promotional video and lots of posts that just give you a little bit of background information about the community and the different places we have. An important point to raise, it's not been an issue so far, but is our blueprint for respect and productive interactions, which just sets out what we expect all of our community members to adhere to, which is primarily to be, we don't stand for intolerance. You have to be kind and respectful to each other. Don't promote or solicit spam. Keep discussions relevant and reasonable. And what you say matters, particularly in this field where it's important that with the language we use is representative of what you'd say to people in person. So don't say anything in the community that you wouldn't say in person. I feel sure I don't need to raise this, but it's important points to make. Here we, of course, have lots of information on how you can get hold of us, how you can contribute, about the app. But essentially, this is a little bit of a how-to guide on everything I'm going to cover today. So if you're not sure, you could have a look there first, or you are welcome to drop me a line. One of the first places we'd suggest that all new community members visit is our Introduce Yourself space. This is where everybody by default is enrolled into this community space, and it really is exactly what it says on the tin, which is a place for you to introduce yourself. And what we suggest you post here is telling us who you are, maybe the institution you work for, what your research areas of interest are, or your interest topics, maybe a problem you're experiencing at the moment, or something fun, something personal, something to just help other members of the community get to know you a little bit better. And often what we find is that these first posts spark conversations, because what you'll find is other people you already know may already be here and they'll be very welcoming. Or if you say you're interested in a particular area, people will respond really positively to that. So this is a warm, easy first way to break into posting into the community. So please do visit that. Take your time to have a look at the post by others. Also as well, give a warm welcome to others that join after you. After that, the next thing to particularly highlight is our Salon webinars. So every Wednesday, either at 12 noon UK time or 8 p.m. UK time, we host a weekly webinar. These are often not deliberately hosted by me, but we're always very encouraging if you'd like to take a turn at hosting a Salon webinar. We're very much keen to give other people the opportunity to do this, but these are weekly webinars that last usually around an hour. We have 2 speakers at every one who will each present for 10 to 15 minutes on a given topic. They're usually experts in the field, or certainly they have volunteered to speak, so one would hope that they have something to say on the topic that we're discussing. And then there's a chance for you to ask questions. Whoever is hosting will usually have some chat, and you can either ask questions in person, well, not in person, but that will be answered by the people in person, and we'll also continue the conversation in the chat. These haven't really worked out as we'd originally envisaged, which is that they'd be an online discussion to go with the in-person discussion. We find that people often leave, but what you'll do is if you scroll down here, what you'll find is all the upcoming events. I'm going to make my screen a little bit bigger there so you can see this coming Wednesday. And if you click on those, you'll see this coming Wednesday Salon session is at noon. We have two speakers. We have Ian Harrison and David Bruno from Liverpool and UCL. And they're going to both reflect on their experiences of transitioning into independence, so research independence. I know Ian's recently set up his own lab at UCL just during and after the pandemic. He also won an award for the Early Career Investigator of the Year award at Alzheimer's Research UK conference last week. So congratulations, Ian, if you're watching this. And David is a brilliant psychologist and researcher at the University of Liverpool who's done various things for us in the past. So they're going to present for that. And if you're interested in attending this, you can click the RSVP button and that will send you a reminder then when that session is about to start. And when these sessions do happen, they take place here in the community. So if you click that reminder, it'll send you a diary invite you can put into your diary. You'll also get a push notification and an email of a reminder that that is happening. And then essentially, when the time comes, you come back to this place here and you'll find that this is just like you've experienced with joining this session today. This will be live and happening. And you can see all the other people that are attending here. You can click on the names of these people and it will take you to their biographies. And that's that. So you can see we book these sessions up to 3 months in advance, and we already know right through to next July what these talks are going to be. So we have choosing qualitative research methods, how to talk and present to children, studying with a chronic health condition, which one of our guests this evening is going to be hosting for us, winning friends and influence people. These really are a variety of topics, everything from research topics to career topics, or ones about personal well-being and about growth and careers. So please do check out that. Again, great thing to do is to, as a new joiner, is to have a look in here, see if there's any upcoming events that are of interest to you and RSVP those that do. And as new events are added, you'll find that they will appear in your feed, which I'll come to next. So if you jump out of this, you'll see everybody has a feed, and the feed is fed exactly as it sounds by all the spaces that you are a member of. So if you're a member of some spaces which are private spaces or just the public spaces, everything posted will come into your feed. So it's a great way just to, if you don't have a lot of time, you're not coming for something specific, you're just checking into the community, see what's going on, do click on the feed and you'll see all the posts. So you can see we posted a new event today that's appeared in the feed. There was an announcement about a new journal club that's there in the feed. There's a post there in the new joiner, the introduce yourself. So that's a good place to go as well. Next, celebrating wins, exactly what it says on the tin. We're really keen that we know that research is hard, it's full of ups and downs, and I think it's really important that when you do have a success that we recognize that and give yourself a pat on the back and get one from the community too. And that could be anything from a big win like a huge grant application to getting a poster accepted, to getting your ethics, to just having a good productive week. Whatever you want to celebrate, come and tell us. We'd love to know more. Let's see some examples here. Somebody got their ethics application submitted. Somebody was invited to be a panelist on a webinar. There we go. Somebody had an abstract accepted for a talk. Somebody graduated. These are all things that are worth celebrating. So do take some time. Come and don't be shy. Celebrate your wins with us, because we'd love to hear about those. I'm particularly keen as well to know if you've found the community useful, if you've made a connection or it's been useful in some way. Do tell us as well. That's a win for us. The next is the Researcher Lounge. This space came about as something new. It wasn't there when we launched the community, but what we realized was we needed a place where you could talk with each other a little bit off topic. So if you wanted to share something that's going on in your life, which isn't necessarily about your career and isn't necessarily about your research, but you wanted to talk about a good book you've read recently, or a video a movie you'd seen, or something along those lines. A lot of our community members have told us that they're turning away from traditional forms of social media for a whole variety of reasons. We know it can be a real as much as it can be amazing, it can be a massive cesspool as well. And if this community can provide an alternative to traditional social media, we recognize that we're going to need to have a space where you could just let off some steam and share fun things as well. So go for it in there. We'd love to see more pictures of your pets, what you're cooking at the moment, things that you're really enjoying, recommendations for life. So please do use that space there, remembering the rules, of course. Next, we have event buddies. This came about because I go to lots of conferences throughout the year. And what we discovered was that you'd often not know in advance who else was going. I mean, you might arrive and then it turns out you know people who were there, but it can be really daunting as a first time, as an early career researcher who doesn't know many other people or who is keen to make connections while you're at a conference and collaborate. So if you're going to any conferences this year, have a look down and see if somebody else has already posted that they're going. So here we are. We had somebody here. Victoria posted to say they're going to the Alzheimer and Dementia show later this month. And was anybody else going? And somebody replied to say that they were. Hopefully, what will result from this is you making a connection in advance of going to the conference, somebody who can potentially be a friendly face, somebody who you might connect with, network, and hey, maybe we'll also contribute to getting travel buddies and making new friends at conferences in advance of just being there. Or even it's just coordinating a group of people to have dinner with if you're going all on your own, because we know that conferences can be a little bit lonely if you're not with a group of people. So that's what that space is for. And there's lots of guidance there as well about how to stay safe. It's important that we don't want you to be unsafe in this. So verifying identity, keep initially communications informal, meet in public spaces. We do our best to ensure that everybody who joins the community is the kind of people that you would be safe with. But of course, we can't guarantee that at all times. So if you ever come across any problems, by all means, report that to us. But just remember safety first. But that's what the Conference Buddies section is all about. Next is funding calls. Something else the community told us, that staying on top of funding announcements is hard. There are hundreds of different institutions, charities and organizations funding dementia research across the world, and they often change when they publish their funding announcements. And keeping on top of those is tricky. The deadlines are increasingly short as well. I know that some charities announce their funding calls in late January, early February, with deadlines of the end of March. So the last thing you want to do is to find out that there's a new funding call announcement 2 weeks before it's due to close. And that's where this came about. So this feed in the community is fed. This feed is fed by the Dementia Researcher website. So we do our best to find and curate and bring into one place all the funding calls that we're aware of and that we're told about. They go into the website, which means they're also included in our newsletter on a Friday. And then the moment that they're added to our website, they're fed through into the community. As you can see here, this is the BBSRC fellowship scheme was added. And you don't get a lot of information here. You just essentially get that there is a new funding call. This is the closing date. This is a link to get the information on it. And that is sent as a push notification to your mobile device, which means that you're never, ever going to miss out on a notification. Get those push notifications, which allow you to bookmark them or at least come back later. But the whole point of this is just to make sure that you get those notifications the moment they come out. You're not even waiting for the newsletter on a Friday. You'll get those straight away. Jobs is much the same. So funding calls, all these spaces I've talked about so far, you're automatically enrolled in when you join the community. If you don't want to be a part of these, you can leave any of these spaces at any time. So if you're not interested in research funding, you can click on the 3 dots at the top of the screen here. You can turn off notifications, and you can also leave that space if you want to. By Default, you will have been enrolled in all these spaces because we think they're useful, but if you don't, all of these spaces are optional and you can leave any of them. Just tick that box. And I also spoke to somebody at a conference last week who mentioned that they felt they were getting lots of notifications and they didn't know what to do, so they were going to delete the app. It's worth pointing out that you can change all of the notification settings. If you click on your profile picture in the top corner, this is the same in the app, and go to notifications, you'll see all the options there for how you disable these. So you can turn these on and off to say, I'd like them via email or by app or not at all. And that goes for everything from direct messages to if your posts are liked, new notifications. You can change all of your notification settings there or leave a space that you're not interested in. Jobs. Jobs works much the same as funding calls, except this is optional. We auto-enrolled you into the jobs area where you'll find information out about this, how this works, but we didn't enroll you in specific job spaces. So much like how funding calls work, all the jobs that we advertise on the Dementia Researcher website, we do the same. We try to find all of them, particularly in the US and UK, particularly where we have more success, but also in Australia, across the rest of the world. If you're looking for a job, come into this section, find the area that you're interested in. So if you're interested in biomarkers and neuroimaging jobs, if you click this post, you'll see there's a notification there to say you can sign up to the job alerts. And if you click that, what it's going to do is you're going to find now in the sidebar, you've now been added to now you can see here over on the sidebar, you've now been added to the jobs and biomarkers section. And every time a new job is added to our website, you'll get a push notification to your device. Again, you can leave this job section at any time. You can change the notifications. If you click on a job, it's going to give you a little pricey. So here we can see Amanda Hazelgrave is seeking a research assistant at the DRI. And if you're interested in this job, you can click this link and it'll take you then off to the Dementia Researcher website. And if you stop, you're successful, you find a job, you can leave this space. You just have to type in leave, confirm, and you will leave. And then if you want to come back, you can come back and rejoin later. Okay. We're going to power through now. I'm conscious that this is lots of me talking. Journal clubs. Journal clubs are incredible. These were one of my things that really excited me some of the most about the opportunities that came with our community app. So if you're lucky enough to work at a big institution with lots of other people working in the same area of interest as you, then there's probably a journal club happening already that you're a member of. If, however, you're not that lucky, if you're based in if you're a bit siloed, you're not working in the same field as your colleagues, or if you don't have motivation from others around you to start a journal club, this is a great space to join. So you can see here, as you scroll down, there's a bit of information at the top of the page there on what journal clubs are. But as you scroll down, you'll see so far we have 8 journal clubs. We have a brand new one, which just opened today on fluid and neuroimaging biomarkers. We have occupational therapy and dementia, sleep and circadian rhythms, querying dementia research on LGBTQ plus research and areas of interest, qualitative dementia research, dementia in low resource settings, so that's particularly in lower middle income countries, dementia prevention and advances in Lewy body disease. So if you are interested in any of those, journal clubs will meet for 1 hour each month online using the community platform. Every meeting, usually somebody will take a turn at presenting a paper, and it then works much like other journal clubs do, where somebody will present that paper. It's a chance for you to then talk about that, to interrogate, talk about that paper's strengths and weaknesses, how you think it might influence the field, and much like other journal clubs do. If you're new to journal clubs, do take a few moments to read through the benefits of these in the journal club section, because they really can help your career. And it's also a great way to meet some other researchers that are working in the same field or have the same interests as you, who could potentially go on to become future collaborators. Now, by default, you're not enrolled in any of these journal clubs because they're limited in how many people they allow to join. I'm gonna have to take a drink, so bear with me a second. But if you're interested in any of these journal clubs, if you click on the one you're interested in, you'll see a message there that says this journal club is coordinated by Ria, and to apply you have to send Ria a message. And if you click on that name, it's going to bring up Ria's profile, and you can see there you can click to send a message, and you would just simply send a message saying, hey, I'd really like to join your journal club. The journal club, each journal club has a coordinator. They might ask you some questions. They might ask you a little bit about your background, why you're interested, just to help ensure that the journal club you want to join is a right fit. But then they'll add you to that journal club. And what you'll find then is in your sidebar, once you're admitted to the journal club, 2 new spaces for each journal club will appear. You can see here, I've gone ahead and added my test user here to the new fluid biomarker one, and they have access now to 2 new spaces. There's a chat space, which is very much like a WhatsApp group, where you can see messaging between journal club members. You can see all the bios of all the other people in this journal club, and you can message each other. And that chat space is used to organize the dates and times of your meetings, find presenters for the next meetings. And it's also a chance for you all to chat with each other about this topic or between meetings as well. And then when the meetings are arranged, much like I showed you earlier in the Salon, meetings will appear here as upcoming meetings. Now, I'm just going to jump back to salons for a second, because journal clubs and salon sessions are all automatically recorded, which means that you can, if you missed the live session, if you missed a live salon session, or you miss the live journal club meeting, you can go back and watch the recording at any time, all here within the community. And what you're going to do to get to those is you'll see this option here from upcoming. You can change upcoming to past, and that's then going to show you all the past events. And if you click on any of those and scroll down, you'll see here, you can press play on that you can watch back past recordings. And not only that, but you can also access a transcript of that recording and turn on closed captions as well. So if you have hearing problems and you need to participate afterwards, you can watch those and with closed captions on the screen, or download the transcript as well. So that's how you get to all webinar recordings, and that includes salon sessions and journal clubs. Next, we're powering through now. Snap Answers Club was a place where everything you post in here goes to everybody in the community. So if you just have a quick question like, hey, does anybody know where I can find MRI imaging data in the UK? You could post that question there. Or you could say, let's see if we can find a good example. Hey, somebody's just saying we've got an event going on, or somebody's just saying, is anybody else moving to Blue Sky? If you've got a quick question you want to ask, post your quick questions there. But remember, that goes to everybody in the community. So this is a place, if you're wanting to use the power of our community, all 843 members, to quickly answer your question, that's where you can post it. Community Connect is a place where you can see all the members who are in our community. Everybody who joins our community has a bio. I'd really encourage you, when you joined, you were only asked a few mandatory questions, but I very much encourage you to take some time, go back to view your profile and fill out the non-mandatory questions. And so if I go to edit here, you're going to see non-mandatory questions, including give you the opportunity to add your pronouns. You can also say a little bit about yourself with your bio. You can say whether you're an iStart member or not, what your favorite movie is, how you relax and unwind. There's some fun questions. You can add your Orchid ID in there. You can put your website, your social media links in there as well. And you can choose if you want your bio to actually be private rather than public. By filling in those bio questions, it means that this section here is all the more useful because it allows you to find other people. And you can use the filters along the top to do exactly that. So if you're interested in, say, looking for somebody who also works at Northumbria University, because maybe you're thinking about applying for a job there and you're looking for somebody else who works there, you can apply that filter. And immediately we can see here, Raoul works at Northumbria University. Why is that useful? Well, maybe you're planning to apply for a job there. Maybe you heard that that university is doing some good work and you're looking for a connection. But so you could look, you can filter according to where they work, what part of the world people are in, what their research interests are. You can to find people who might be useful. So if you're looking for guest speakers at your next event, or people to be an advisor or a collaborator on a research project you're looking, somebody with a unique skill set, this is where you can apply it. And we are actually going to, thanks to our new journal coordinator, Ria, we're going to look at expanding this with skills as well to help you find people who might have skills as potential collaborators or resources that they might be willing to share as well. So we're going to enhance this section. So that's Community Connect. We're getting now to the more fun parts. We have our career section. Career section is broken down into career stage, because we recognize that PhD students might want to talk to other PhD students and not necessarily to more senior academics. So depending on what career stage you told us you were at when you joined, it will have automatically enrolled you into a career stage discussion group. And that's exactly what this is. It's a discussion group. It's a place where you can talk about careers. So if you're looking for advice on, you're a PhD student looking for some advice on how to prepare for a Viva, or when people are doing their applications, or anything that's relevant to your career, this is a space for you to come and chat with other PhD students. We can see there are 220 PhD students in this community group. Everybody's available to there, so please do come and use that space to chat. And that's broken down into researchers with lived experience, future researchers, clinical researchers, assistant associate professors, postdoc lecturers, undergrads as there as well. This is also where we host career events that aren't part of the Salon. So in the past, we are hosting this one in the career events, and in the past you can see we've held some specific webinars on that specific funders have asked us to host, with information sessions about their funding calls and things like that. So we host events in there as well. This is also in here. We have two other sections, which is Find a Mentor. So everybody in the Find a Mentor section has ticked the box to say, yes, I'm willing to be a mentor to somebody. So again, use the filters at the top to filter by institution, by career stage, or just click on people's names, have a browse through them. And if you're looking for a mentor, everybody here has direct messaging enabled, and they're all open to be approached about being a mentor to you. So let's have a look. Let's give you an example. Here we go. Rachel Kelly was a brilliant speaker on our session last week, sits on a Salon review board. They've ticked the box to say that they are, no, they haven't. Carmel, if you were mentoring, no. Okay, I'm going to check that. But everybody in here will have been asked to contact about mentoring. Now, moving on to research chat. Oh, I know why. That's because that automation's not run yet since that question was answered. That automatically gets updated once a week. So research chat is much the same as careers chat, except this is a space to talk about research. So We'd love to hear more about your research ideas, what's troubling you, what you got going on at the moment, about interesting papers you've written. We do suggest some kind of topics you might want to, but this is a place where you can find other experts, collaborators, and talk about research problems and research you've read about. That's what we hope will be talked about in these spaces. And again, we have an event space here where you can talk about where we'll host research discussions. So here, there's a conference happening in Wessex in July. It's not a conference we're organising, but we're going to be streaming it to the platform for others that can't attend in person. I skipped out a section there, which is Viva Success. The community platform allows us to build courses. So far, we've only produced one, which is for anybody who's going to be sitting their Viva. Essentially, these courses curate all the rich content from across our website, whether that's webinars, podcasts, blogs, other posts and articles from across. We have over 3,000 posts on the Dementia Researcher website. We have over 500 podcasts and blogs. And so we try to package up the content on specific topics, put that out there as a training course, just to really systematically work you through some of the content we have that might help you. So far, we've done Vivas. We are going to work on and add other courses over time. So if you're coming up and sitting your Viva in the next 6 months, come and have a look at this. You can join the course there, and it'll take you through these each section and lesson one by one. There are 23 lessons. Overall, if you took that whole content, it would take you about an hour and a half to do. So that's that. Finally, I'm going to come to, I missed something. I forgot to mention in journal clubs. If you are interested in journal clubs and the journal club you would really like to be involved in isn't there, there are instructions on the screen on how you can approach us to start your own journal club. It's really simple to do. You and I will have a chat for half an hour about how they work. And if you're still interested, we can create new journal clubs within a matter of days. And our new journal club coordinator, Ria, will be able to testify to that. Partner communities. One of the things we wanted to do right from the start was recognizing that existing communities already are out there. And what we wanted to do was to use this platform to provide a space for those communities that might not have the same resources that we have, to have some dedicated online community space which is just for them. And so if you have a community, whether that's a monthly meeting or a special interest group or anything like that, and you would like your own private community space for your members to be able to maybe chat between meetings. So some of the people we've seen so far do this. I'll show you an example that you can't see. So partner communities are either private, entirely secret, or public. So here you can see an example. We have a community space for the DEMCOM fellows. This is a group of about 60 research fellows in the UK based in the Applied Research Collaborations. They have a private space, so you can't get into that. Nobody else can see it. The only people that can access that space are those 60 people. And in there, they can chat safely amongst each other about whatever it is they want to talk about. And you can see, but they've made it public that this exists. So if a new person comes along who thinks that they should be able to join that, you get this screen that says, hey, if you'd like to join, this is how you go about it. Other communities are entirely open. So Sarah Griffiths from UCL created a community to share resources around ethics. And you can see here 32 people have joined it, and this is entirely open and public, and anybody can join this. If you want to post in there, you have to join the space, but anybody can look even if you're not a member. And then we also have something you won't be able to see, is we have entirely secret communities, which I'm going to briefly show you here. Swap my screen over. So you can see here the ALS UCL the UCL ALS FTD has an entirely private, secret community that's only for people that work at UCL and working ALS and FTD. It's for this particular institution, and here they are talking really about things that are only relevant if you work at that institution. So they're talking about promotion opportunities. They're talking about local events that are only happening there. They're talking about sharing lab equipment and resources, things that would only be relevant if you work there. So these things happening there aren't of wider interest to the bigger community. They have a chat space, they have a news space, they have an event space, they have a picture sharing space, and they have a bio space where, again, much like the other, you can see everybody who's in there. So if your lab group or your extended network would like your own community space, whether that's a private space, an open space, or an application only space, reach out and drop me a line and we can talk about how we can make that happen. We have some new spaces coming online at the moment for others. So Join Dementia Research, a recruitment tool in the UK, asked for a new space and we created one. So if you're chatting about how to use that service, you can join that space. But these are exactly for that purpose. These are community spaces which are for you and your community. So imagine creating your own Facebook group. It's kind of the equivalent of that, but a professional space. So far we have the Ethics Exchange, which anybody can join, the Liverpool and Dementia Forum, Join Dementia Research, and all the instructions on how to get your own community space are listed there and how you can do that. That's all the spaces covered. There's a couple of other features that I will quickly touch upon, but if I haven't answered a question, post your questions now. The couple of other things I want to briefly touch upon are our notifications that we put out come under news and know-how. So if we add new features or we survey you once a month just to try and keep people engaged, you can go into the news and know-how section. We have a few tutorials in there as well. If there are any opportunities, things like hosting Salon sessions, we'll post in there as well. And you can see, you'll also get notifications about when new events and things are signing up on. The other thing to highlight is in Careers chat, along the top, you've got this little button called Careers First Aid. If you click on that, it's going to take you across to the Dementia Researcher website. And what we've done is we've taken all the content from our website that we think is of particular interest to people at that career stage. We've curated it into one place and then reformatted it to work on really well on a mobile device. So if you clicked on Career First Aid as a PhD student, you can see it's brought you to some blogs. We've got Sam talking about turning thesis into publications, somebody talking about Cleona talking about being the first time as a peer reviewer, Rebecca about their approach to writing a scientific paper. We've got a podcast on sitting Vivas. We've got me talking about how you can use project management during your PhD. And if you click on any of these, you can also filter. You can type in the keywords. If you're interested in Viva or publications or grant applications or imposter syndrome or whatever it is, type in the keyword and it'll find them. And if you click on these, it really doesn't work because I'm working obviously on a computer here. But if you were on your smartphone right now, that would look really great. It's nice and simple. It's really easy to read on your smartphone. And just like all of our blogs, every blog comes with an audio narration of the person who wrote the blog, also reading the blog for those who just don't have time to read or are unable to use screen readers or prefer to just listen while they're walking the dog. So that's another feature as well, is the Career First Aid. And other than that, I would say browse around. You can see, if you're interested in events, there are headers across the top to take you straight to the events. There's even a leaderboard where you can see who are the most engaged community members. this hasn't been a particularly motivating factor for people in our community, but in others, I'm told it is. So if you want to score some points, the more events you attend, the more posts you comment on, the more posts you create, earn you points, and points move you up the leaderboard, and you'll be featured there as a significant contributor. The only other things to, of course, say is direct messages are up there, just like in any other app, whether that's a social media app, and alert notifications there as well. And you can send individual messages or group messages to other members of the community if you want to take your conversation away from the public space and into those private spaces. And there's also a new AI agent in there. So if you'd like to ask a question like, hey, can you tell me a biomarker researcher in London who could help with something? Type that in there and see what it comes up with. It's supposed to be able to help. Should we put it to the test? Tell me about biomarker researchers in London. I've not used this. This is a new community feature that the software developers have just enabled. They don't have enough information. There you go. It's just like your smart speaker that says they'll have to connect you to the internet. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, if I can remember just how to do that. There we go. I stopped sharing my screen. I hope that run through has been useful to you. If you're a new member, see if you could take some time to get through that. I'll download this as well, and I'll chapterize it so you can skip around to the bits that might be of particular interest, and post this to YouTube to make it a little bit easier to navigate, as well as leaving it in the community. I'll give you a minute or so to ask questions if you have them, but if not, I will thank you very much for taking time out to watch this, either live or recording, particularly to my two in-person guests, who both are community members already and probably knew everything I've just told you and didn't learn anything new. And then I'm going to go away and find out why that mentoring thing didn't quite work. But thank you very much for taking time. It's really important to me that the community is useful. So if you ever have any new ideas, suggestions, have any problems accessing it, any bugs, problems, questions, any issues at all with the community space, do reach out and drop me a line. Or if we see each other at a conference or event, grab me and talk to me, tell me about it. I'd love to hear if there are any problems. I'd also love to hear if it's been useful to you as well. So if I was on YouTube now, I guess I'd be saying hit that like and subscribe, but of course that's not the case. But do reach out and get in touch. Thank you so much for being a member of the community and being proactive and an active participant in this as well. The more that we all take time out to post into those career and discussion and welcome spaces, the more welcoming it will feel. And if you post, others will too. Some areas of the community have been a little bit slow to get going, but I really hope that with sessions like this and with your help and support, we can get that going and make this community into the vibrant place we need, because we really need to address all the massive challenge that is dementia. And if we can do that and help you as researchers to perform best in your roles, then that's what we're here for. That's all from me. Thank you very much. I've been Adam Smith, and you've been watching the Welcome to the Dementia Researcher Community webinar. Thank you.